Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session. I am excited today about the opportunities that's going to be presented by the Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation in support of the summer programming that they have lined up for us this year. I am waiting on our main presenter, Sam Fenderson, to join us to kick off today's session. She is running a little bit late, so we are, as usual, I also wait about 5 minutes grace period to ensure everyone has an opportunity to grab that coffee, do that last push, getting everyone out of the room and settling in for today's power hour. So we will start promptly at 3:05. So if you want to hustle to get that caffeine or that cup of tea ready and handy for the next hour, we will officially start at 3:05. Thank you. In the meantime, if everyone could please secure your attendance by entering your name, your role, as well as either SAU or school. Thank you. In the chat box. Hey there, Sam.
Hello.
Hi. We are giving everyone 3 minute grace and we
Okay.
will start promptly at 3:05. But if you wanted to share your screen, um, just make sure everything is set up. You
Yep.
have sharing permission.
Looks like I do. Great. Jessica, do you want me to also share when you talk about Vibe and no barriers, the flyers, or are you all set?
I have them, but if you're able to share that, I don't know if you have them open and ready.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're able to pull them up, that'd probably be easier
Okay.
for me. Thanks.
Yep.
While we wait for everyone to join us, we have just finalized the registration form for the I Belong Youth Summit this year, which will be hosted on May 29th at Central Maine Community College. So registration is now officially open. We are going to take the initial registration and just so that we can do a total number head count about the number of schools and the number of students that we are expecting, and then we will send out individual communications to individualize our student programs on that day. So this is just an overall count of the number of students and the number of schools that will be attending that day so that we can plan, um, food costs, table seatings, number of activities, etc. And so that I will share towards the end of today's session as well. Um, Also, please remember today is at the end of today's session to please complete your survey so that we can see how best to serve you and shape the power hours going forward, as well as please remain on to receive your contact hour, the link to the certificate for today's power hour. And with that said, I'd like to begin today's session. So hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Transition Maine Power Hour focused on the vocational rehabilitation and the 2025 summer programs for our scholars with IEPs. I'm thrilled to introduce this crucial session where we'll explore vocational rehabilitation summer programs designed to enhance employment prospects for our students with diverse abilities. These programs develop essential soft skills and promote independent living, perfectly complementing paid work experiences. Today, our presenter, Samantha Fenderson, the Director of the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, will show us how these opportunities empower our students, build employability skills, and foster self-advocacy as they prepare for post-secondary success. We've shared valuable resources in the chat. We will share from Maine Working Together, as well as air.org, a project for those interested in learning more around transition assessment. So without further ado, let's discover how we can support our scholars in building towards meaningful post-secondary opportunities. Welcome, Sam and Jessica.
Thanks, Titus. Appreciate the introduction. And I'll have Jessica, if you could just do an introduction, that would be great.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Kavanaugh. I'm the Youth and Family Services Coordinator with the Division for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Happy to be here.
Thanks,
Welcome,
Jess.
Jessica.
So today, Jess and I are going to review some summer programming that is available through DVR and DBVI. And we'll also touch upon some other activities that can be happening outside of these programs as well. So we have several programs that previously were kind of separated based on DVR clients and then separate program for DBVI clients. But we felt that for numbers and for financial reasons, it would be great to kind of combine. And it also allows other students to interact with different peers with different varying disabilities. And also for our DBVI clients who may only have one person who are blind or with vision loss in their school or school district. So really to be able to have some socialization with other individuals, including DVR clients. So the programs that we're going to go over today are for all individuals ages 14 up through 22, up to their 22nd birthday, who can either be eligible, have applied for the voc rehab program, or who have completed a PREATS registration form. And both of those can be found on our website and DVR, and I'll share what those websites are when Jess covers a couple of things. I'll pop them in the chat for you. The PREATS registration form is really a much quicker and simpler way to engage in PREATS transition services. And when a student needs to get more individualized services or has identified a vocational goal, then it would be on the recommendation, and the VR counselor will talk to the student about this, about applying for services. Oh, thanks, Titus. Appreciate it. So I'm going to share my screen, and the first summer program that we can talk about is what's called the College Bus Tour. So this is in its 4th year, and an opportunity for students, again, age 14 up until 22nd birthday. It is an opportunity to really go out and explore colleges in the state of Maine. So for students who, yes, I'm going to go to college, or for students who are on the fence, or for students who really just need that exploration to really decide, is it in or is it out for me? So the college bus tour consists of 2 separate weeks where there are combined in the 2 weeks, there are 17 colleges and universities that the students explore. And am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you will see that we have split it between the northern tour and the southern tour, and students can attend both, or they can attend one or the other. So the northern tour has this list of colleges, and it's usually the University of Maine system, the community college system. However, we have added in some private schools such as Thomas College and University of New England. We really look at students who, well, I will say, I'll back up a little bit. During each of the 2 weeks, it's a Monday through Friday schedule. So students get dropped off on Monday, typically in Augusta, and VR counselors can assist families with transportation to the location. And then drop-off point is also Augusta. And this is a 5-day overnight stay where kids go on a luxury tour bus and stay overnight in college campuses. So there are opportunities to tour small campuses, larger campuses. They will have identified as a roommate in the dorms so that they'll start experiencing what dorm life would be like. They will be accessing the school cafeteria. So they'll be going in, doing the lines that happen naturally at cafeterias, and also, what are the expectations or what are the experiences that you may have when you transition to a college campus. We also take a tour provided by each of the colleges of the campus, which includes dorms, all of the classrooms, and then there's also additional kind of learning hour where the college provides information, and each college will provide information different from the other. So for example, one college might talk about how to apply for colleges. One might talk about financial aid. One might talk about extracurricular activities. One might talk about dorm life and living with a roommate, and then disability accommodations and what does that process look like.
We have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Do students need to be registered with VR to participate in this?
Yes, they either need to have completed a pre-ETS registration form or a VR application.
Mm-hmm. So can I just make one comment? The fact that these are sophomores, juniors, or seniors, we are hoping our students are connected with the VR at a much younger age. So they should be connected. All students with IEPs starting at 9th grade, 16 years old, or earlier as determined by the IEP team. So I just want to throw in that caveat on that side. So at this point, the bus tour point being their sophomore, junior, senior, they should have been connected with VR. If that has not happened as yet, I would highly encourage you to reach out to me and reach out to your local VR counselor so that we can get this happening for you as well. We've placed the online link in there as well where you can have the online application completed for the pre-ed services.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and this really is starting at age 14. So, as early as the earlier we can begin planning, the better off students and families are as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, not only do we visit the college campuses, but there's also some fun activities thrown in there. Mini golfing, going to the movies, or things like that, or using the pool when we're the athletic facilities when we're at the college campus. It really does give students kind of an idea of what to expect. And I will say one of the first years that we did it, students were really taken aback by going into the school cafeteria because the University of Maine football team is there.
Mm.
And it can be, a little overwhelming, right? Going into the cafeteria and then having to navigate to get your tray and then figuring out where you want to go and kind of what food you want to get. And we had a lot of students that said, this isn't for me. This large campus is not for me. And it's like, that's okay, because we're going to look at some smaller campuses that might be a better fit.
Mhm.
But then we also talk with the student and work with the student. Okay, how are we going to navigate the cafeteria at this point? Kind of what supports do you need? You have to eat. So, what can we do to support you? So we really do talk through some of any strategies that we can develop. So on the flyer is also the dates of when the two tours are happening. So the Southern tour is June 23rd through June 27th. And the Northern tour is July 28th through August 1st. There is, we have one bus. We have a capacity of about 35 students, depending on if we have students who are using wheelchairs or any mobility devices. That will decrease the amount of students we can have on the bus. We also have 4 staff members who are on the tour 24/7. And we also have backup staff as well. I will say that there's one night where all the students and the staff go out to like the Olive Garden, and you may think, oh, why do you go to the Olive Garden, and why do you go out to a dinner? And I will say there's a lot to learn when students go out as a group, how to manage conversation in a group, how to not chase the waitress down because you wanted to order something. All of those conversational skills that happen and the talking over of people and taking turns. There's a lot to learn at the Olive Garden. And we really see, students' growth. For example, we had quite a few students that repeat the tour from one year to the next year, and we look at the reasons why you would like to repeat it. And I think as you age, right, and as you learn more, you kind of then have a different lens that you look through when you're talking about these campuses. So there's no cost for the student. This is 100% covered by the VR program, whether they're a VR applicant or whether they're pre-ETS registration form. And then the contact people are here on the form, and I will send all of these to Titus so that she can get it out to you all so that you have the contact information. But if you have any questions, please connect with your VR counselor in the school. That would be great.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much the college bus tour, unless there are any questions.
Before we come to questions, I just wanted to add on as well the value of the bus tour for our students with disabilities. This gives them a direct opportunity to look at their accessibility needs, especially if they are in the wheelchair or DBVI or deaf and hard of hearing. This truly gives them that immersive. Instead of just a day visit and a walkthrough, this really gives them that kind of thorough, immersive experience of what accessibility needs would look like or feel like or considered as they do these tours, as well as they are right there with their VR counselors. So these are the considerations in planning for their transition post-secondary, as well as looking at those assistive technology that devices or needs that can be used in practice while they're still in school to support that transition post-secondary when we are not there. So it's not about securing these devices or these accessibility understandings after the fact. So this is kind of preloads that kind of thinking and understanding around that. A second piece that I also want to make sure that we identify is that the tours also allow our students to meet with the disability services staff. So they're knowing where these accessibility officers are, going in there, being able to speak with the staff and know what kind of supports will be there, but also what kind of paperwork who they will face when they have to come and disclose their disability, what that looks like. So it also helps them reduce these fears, right? Which is a major barrier when you're all alone, leaving home for the first time without that wraparound support that you had. So then this also allows the student to be able to navigate the faces and the layout of it before they are, independent, doing their own thing on the college campus. And those are the major highlights that I wanted to point out as well, but also the idea of them staying in the actual dorms. That gives them that housing options and what it will feel like to be away from home. Again, reducing those unknowns because they've been in these spaces. These elevate the doors of success, right? Widens that doors of success for our students by participating in these summer programs. And I apologize, Sam, for jumping in there like this.
No, you're fine. You're
Mhm,
fine.
mhm,
And we do learn a lot. Like when you stay with students for Monday through Friday and overnights, there's really a lot of opportunities for relationship building, and there's also a lot of opportunities for just those one-on-one conversations. And we
mhm,
do try to make sure that any student that attends the college bus tour, like we know what their interests are if they have an interest, so that we can make sure that they are getting information about that specific program at that specific college that they may have identified. Um,
mhm.
so any questions
One
on the
more.
college bus tour before
And
we move
one more
over
to add
to
to this. If
Vibe?
your
Sure.
kiddos are taking diligent notes, right? If they around goal setting. So what are the realistic goals in their transition plan, right? And their post-secondary goals. Looking at that skill development as well, looking at that accommodation planning, all that information that you're gathering during the student, which is student-led gathering around that post-secondary opportunity can now be used to update and inform the next IEP. So it is not a one and done, making sure that you have these conversations with your student before they go on the bus tour to make sure that they understand how they can re-inform their post-secondary goals and evaluating and analyzing the best method in planning for the future. And now I'll stop.
All right, we can certainly take questions at any time. So I'm going to turn it over to Jessica to talk about Vibe.
Thanks, Sam. And you'll pull up the flyer.
It is
Oh,
up.
there it is. Okay, thank you. So hi everyone. I'm gonna use my cheat sheet a little bit in my notes because this is a pretty big program for us. So VIBE stands for Venturing into Independence and Building Skills for Employment. This is a program that the Division for the Blind has offered for many years, although under a different title. So we've had many iterations of this program. But this will be the first year that we are offering it alongside students that are connected with the DVR program. So we're excited for this collaboration. So VIBE is a 2-week residential program that will run from July 13th through the 25th. The program will be housed at the University of Southern Maine Gorham campus. And it will address all 5 of the required pre-employment transition services. So the students are going to participate in a wide variety of activities focused on career exploration, college exploration, building self-advocacy skills, working on independent living skills that are really important to prepare for employment. And we'll be doing a variety of sessions and learning in the classroom setting, but we're also planning on doing a lot of community-based activities. So we're planning on doing some different job site tours, informational interviews, job shadows, out in the community. We're going to be partnering with the Maine Mobile Bioscience Lab to do some STEM exploration. And the program will culminate in a trip to Boston. So we'll spend 2 days in Boston, one overnight, where we'll do an employer visit. As you can see on this screen, there's a picture of our visit last year. We went to Google, which was a pretty amazing experience. And this year, we're still working on who will visit, but we're hoping that it will be an equally exciting employer. We're also planning to do a college tour when we are in Boston. And our goal is to also expose the students to just a variety of modes of transportation. So obviously in Maine, we're limited in terms of what we can expose the students to. So we're planning on taking the bus down to Boston. We're going to be riding the subway system, using Uber, all of those fun things. So there's going to be a lot of learning. It's going to be a pretty demanding program, but we also want to have a lot of opportunity for recreation and leisure activities in the evenings and on the weekend. So students can have fun and also, as Sam said, just build those peer connections that are really important. So this program, we have a max of 15 participants that we can accommodate. And any students that participate, as Sam said, they would need to be connected with the VR program, either as a VR participant or as a potentially eligible student. And as long as they meet those criteria, the program will be paid for by the voc rehab program. So there'd be no cost to students. That's Vibe in a nutshell. Happy to answer any questions.
I don't see any questions in the chat. Can the links to the flyers be added into the chat, please?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Go
Sam.
ahead, Jess.
I was just going to say, I don't think we could add a link to the flyer, but I think Sam said you would send them out to Titus after.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
right now they're only available internally to our staff. So I will send them as attachments to Titus. So sorry about that. We don't have them on a public web page.
Not a problem.
I think I can't remember, Jess. The program dates here is July 13th through the 25th. And
Yep.
we have tried to make sure that none of these dates conflict with each other, so that if a student wanted to participate in more than one activity, they certainly could.
Oh, okay.
Let me stop sharing there. So I'm just going to talk about some other opportunities that are available for students this summer. So not only do we have these programs, but we also have paid work experiences. So that's either VR can pay the wages, but the person must be at a competitive integrated employment site, which basically means any employment that's available out in the community. So VR can either pay for the wages or they can become employed by the employer, and we may be supporting that student by short-term job coaching, or even with the VR counselor, just checking in with them occasionally, depending on what the needs are of the student. We also are offering the peers curriculum, which is really identified for those that are on the autism spectrum. And we're actually starting a cohort today, and we have 11 students that are participating in the peers curriculum. Again, they would have to be either a VR applicant or pre-ETS registration form. And it's a 14-week, pretty intensive curriculum, a couple of hours each week. And the curriculum really goes over social skills. And we have seen much success with this program and some pretty huge transitions from students from the first session to the 14th session in regards to communication, connecting with others. So it's really powerful program. We're not offering this program this summer, but I still wanted to put a plug in it for next summer, and that is the Step Up program. The Step Up program is also for individuals who are on the autism spectrum, and it is an opportunity to take a class at the University of Maine, is where we've traditionally housed it. And it has been a 5-week program where students stay on campus for 5 weeks and partake in taking a college class with their peers, and then having a paid work experience, which either could be on campus or it could be around campus. And then there are other sessions that involve, for example, they may take some peers curriculum or some other vocational assessments. So it's really a nice intensive program, again, living on campus. There may be a hybrid take to it next year where it might be both on campus, but then also remote. So just wanted to put that out there for Step Up, but I would say that that is going to happen next year.
And when I receive more information about that, Anne, I will forward the peers' information to you as well.
Okay,
Wonderful.
thank you.
And so I'm just going to share the no barriers,
Perfect. Thanks, Sam.
maybe. There we go. Alrighty, it's up.
There it is. Okay, thank you. All right, so the last program I just wanted to mention is No Barriers. This again is a program that will be open to both students working with the Division of Voc Rehab and students working with the Division for the Blind and Visually Impaired. I believe this is our 4th year offering this program, and it tends to be a program that many students like to repeat if they have the opportunity. So we work with a program called Aspire Inc. out of Michigan. And so they come to Maine with their staff and facilitate this program for us. So the program is housed at the 4-H camp at Bryant Pond. And the dates are August 21st through the 24th. There is a max of about 20 participants that can register for this program. So this one, I guess, is a little unique compared to some of our other programs. I consider it kind of more of like an adventure type camp. So the students participate in activities like aqua zip lining, hiking, archery, kayaking, lots of outdoor activities. And the intention is to really help empower them to overcome barriers, to challenge themselves, build resilience, build self-advocacy skills. And so there's a curriculum that they go over during the program called No Barriers, and it was created by Eric Weinmeier. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him, but he is an individual that is blind. He's done a lot of really cool things, one of which is he was the first blind individual to climb Mount Everest. So pretty big accomplishment. So they go over, his curriculum, and yeah, this just tends to be a favorite program for some of our students. So the registration link is on the flyer. The deadline, I believe, is in July. I think it's on there, right, Sam? The registration deadline?
You don't, oh yes, July 25th.
25.
Okay.
Mhm.
So a little bit of time to for students to register, but it is currently open. And I know that registrations have been coming in. So that's the No Barriers program. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
And if you don't have any specific questions about the summer programming that we offer, we're more than happy to answer any general questions about the VR program, if you have any.
Now's the time.
And we have a couple of counselors here on the call too, so it's great to see.
So I have a question. So if I have a student, I guess I should show my face. If I have a student who's on the autism spectrum and they're doing well in their classes, so they get dismissed from special ed, but they still have the diagnosis, would they still qualify for VR?
100%.
Okay, okay, because I feel like it's going to impact them out in life.
Yeah, certainly. So I would suggest, even if you have a question like would a person qualify or not, I would make the application anyway, or the pre-ETS registration form, whichever you prefer. Because then VR staff can make that determination of eligibility for the program.
Okay.
But again, to be eligible for our program, it's an individual that has a disability and it's documented, which you would have all of the documentation. So that's why an IEP would be great to go, or any evaluations. So yeah, and they must benefit from our services, which is pretty much a given. There is not many people at all do not benefit from our services. Really, it's those individuals that decide to exit out of our program for whatever reason before we can really provide any services. But for the majority of people, and we serve around 5,500 both adults and transition, but I will say transition outnumbers our adults some years. We really have a strong connection with transition in Maine.
So with the upcoming school year, we're in the process of developing our 18 to 22 program for our students. And our struggle is like developing their school day and how things should go between what would be like part of the education versus the voc rehab versus their independent living skills and things like that. And I guess we're just trying to figure out how things are working and who's responsible for what. And yeah, we're just
I mean, I would recommend that you invite the VR counselor in or make that application or suggest to the family to make the application for VR services, because when you're working with that age group, right, there can be a lot of flexibility and where does work fit in your school day, or what does that look like? So VR counselors can certainly be at the table to talk about, here are the options, that we can work around your school day. We can focus on, where the student is at in regards to their employment needs.
Yeah, I'm finding the biggest issue I'm having is we need the benefits counselor here with the parents.
Yep.
Okay.
They're not wanting to fill out the forms. They're worried about losing the benefits.
So what we can do is support you with that end. It's really about family engagement as far as that is concerned. We can bring the CWICs to do like a demystifying myths around employment for you. So let's have a sidebar on that one, but there's a way to address it. And the only way we can address it is by addressing the family. And so let's figure out how do we bring that the families don't want to be called out. You see, so that is the hardest bit, this idea of SSI and SSDI and that feeling. But if we bring together and create like a family engagement opportunity where we bring the CWICs, but we also bring the ABLE account, so Bangor Savings, and we turn this into financial support, like financial literacy and how to prepare for post-secondary financial resources and support. So let's have that conversation and then I'll bring them to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would also recommend that you go to Maine Health Vocational Benefits website, because they have some fact sheets that are on there which talk exactly about what your concern is. And And we will be creating additional information and materials. We have what's called a Pathways to Partnership grant that is in year 2 right now of a 5-year grant. And it really is part of the focus is that financial literacy for families who are receiving Social Security or SSDI benefits. And we have 2 of the CWICs, the community working coordinators that are P2P focused, and they're working with the younger youth, middle school moving into high school. So there'll be additional resources that come out of that grant to really help families who have questions about that.
Okay.
Not only that, Anne, I think in May, I think the CWICs, they are hosting an educator-facing webinar around
I signed up
benefits.
for it.
Say again?
I think I signed up for it. Is that
Okay,
what
there you
it
go.
was? Yeah.
And so I would encourage every single one of you. This will give you enough information to do no harm. Sometimes we speak to things that can, that can kind of either other the family or scare them in a certain way. And these
Yeah.
guys are trained to manage those conversations around, SSI and SSDI. So that is why it's important to go to the training just to know how far or how much you need to communicate around this.
It was a struggle today. I have a senior who's in the CNA program, and her father made her stop working full time because he's losing his money. And I was letting her know, well, really, it's her money. And she shouldn't be. I said, this is a conversation you're going to have with your dad. And I asked her if she had a case manager. And she said, yes, I do. And so I said, well, I want you to meet with your case manager and see if you could have a discussion with a financial benefit person with, and set.
How old is she?
She's 18.
But she's going to be going on her own. So she needs to, yes, it's really important. Please sign up for this SSI so that you know what kind of guidance you can
Because
give your students around this.
I felt awful. She's like, yeah, she's like, I worked full time this summer. My dad made me quit and I loved it. And then she was going to quit the program here at school and was downing herself like she wasn't ready for it. And I was like, why all of a sudden are you talking so bad about yourself? Like you can't be successful. And she's like, well, Dad said I'm not ready. And I said, oh, yes, you are, girl.
Oh, yeah. Good.
And if she's 18 and her own guardian, again, if you go onto that website, there is a referral packet that you can download and complete, and she can do that on her own if she's her.
And we did that. We met with Book Rehab today, yesterday. We met with him, and he gave her the information. But then it's talking all about her benefits, and her father has all that information.
It'll need to get switched over because she's 18.
Exactly, because she's 18.
And that's what I was telling her, but she's intellectually disabled and she doesn't have access to any of that information. So I told her she really needed to talk to her case manager.
That's also when we find out that parents then may also look at guardianship because they'll lose access to that. And so that's another area that conversation or support or advocacy needs to happen, and DRM is a good place for that.
Right. And that's why I really have been pushing, because he's refused to sign the papers, but now that she's 18,
she can do it.
I was having her do it.
Yeah.
He's refused every year. He's not.
Yeah. Well, that's
the difficulty.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty, that of navigating that family engagement piece.
Yes.
Around that. I would encourage you, invite DRM into your classroom, have our self-advocates actually stand up there and speak to guardianship. This will help inform and empower your student. And so that it's her words speaking to dad, not my teacher said to tell you that. So find ways to message that and have her grapple with that messaging by having that SUFU or those DRM self-advocates speaking to guardianship and the power of our own money and medical and all of that. So provide those empowering opportunities to speak to this, and
Yeah.
then you'll have less of a fight with dad by
Yeah.
connecting. Yes, let the student, right, self-empowerment and self-advocacy, that is what you can promote with your student right now, so that
Mhm.
she can make more supported decisions.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what we're working on with her, but so my other question for VR is, with the funding for a student starting a business,
Mm-hmm.
do they have to be a graduate already?
So there aren't too many students that we support in self-employment, but not to say that we wouldn't.
Mhm.
It would really take a lot of what we call vocational guidance and counseling between the student and the VR counselor to identify if self-employment is the right path right now. So we have a pretty formal process that anybody that goes through for the VR program on self-employment,
Yeah.
which requires working with SBDC to develop a business plan and to go through all of those steps.
So he's already
So,
started his business plan. He's already started buying his equipment.
oh, wow.
He's got customers. He's doing landscaping and he's bought a truck. He's in the process of buying a new snow blower.
Oh,
He's got
fantastic.
he's got the sander. Um, he's started, he's been developing. He asked me, he's like, so how involved do I have to have this business plan?
Mm,
And his father owns a business, so he's
I
been
see.
guiding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question then? Um,
Yes,
this student, he has his classification as ID.
yes.
Um, I
He's
think,
actually on the autism spectrum, sorry.
oh, ASD. Okay, that's
He's
cool.
both. Yep.
Um, I think there might be an opportunity through OADS, Office
Mm,
of Aging Disabilities, around
Yep.
self-employment, including, just so
Yeah.
that we can do both tracks and not just one. But
Yeah.
well, and we combine. So
oh,
OATS,
okay.
yeah, the OATS
Yeah.
self-employment, they have a dedicated curriculum with New Ventures Maine that
Mhm.
is about developing a business plan. But
Mhm.
then there's also you can have both VR services and Office of Aging and Disability Services, and really focusing on that self-employment.
Mhm. Thank you for bringing this up, Anne. I think we will have an offline conversation, Sam,
Yep.
you and I, and we will pull in oats, and we will create this more succinct resource around self-employment and the process and flow to secure these opportunities for our students. So
Mm,
there's really a nice little uh,
mm.
interagency collaboration that we can put together around self-employment here.
And
Mhm.
I would say too, Anne, with your specific example, I mean, this
Mhm,
person is way more ahead, in the self-employment process than
mhm,
traditionally when they come to VR. So there may be a little bit individualized services for him that may not, be the full spectrum because he's so far ahead.
Okay.
And then when I say a business plan, I've seen business plans that are 3 pages to 30. So
Mhm.
it really depends on what the business is and what are the needs of the person. And he already sounds like he has a lot to pull into the business plan.
He,
So I don't think it's a heavy lift, is what I'm
right,
saying.
he has come a long way. He's come from reading kindergarten level to fourth grade. He just passed his firefighting one.
Nice.
Yes, so we have been doing a lot of exploratory with him.
Mm,
And so he bought himself a truck, he got his license, he's
Oh,
been plowing all winter, he's volunteer, he's shoveling, he's very motivated to be successful.
that's awesome.
He's very motivated to be successful.
Is he connected with VR now?
He is.
Okay.
He did an internship at the Acton Fire Department last summer through VR.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
oh, this is it. This is absolutely amazing. I see how this can really provide further opportunities for our student. But I also want to encourage you, especially because he is on the spectrum, please reach out to the Blue Envelope program.
Blue envelope, okay.
The Blue Envelope program, especially because he's on the spectrum and behind the wheel. So the Blue Envelope program, everyone, if you don't know about that, is
don't.
for our students with IEPs that have supposed odd behaviors that a person, a police officer or person might confused for behavior related to drug use. And so by having that blue envelope with them in the car, that is a support for our students behind the wheel. So as you said, he is an ASD, make sure that he has access to a blue envelope, please. And making our students aware, right? Because VR also has and pays for driving. Correct, Sam?
Yep, we pay for driver's education. Yep.
Driver's ed, but with driver's ed, hand in hand should be that blue envelope. So make sure that you guys bring that blue envelope program to your schools. If you need direct connection to the blue envelope program, just reach out to me and I can connect you directly to them as well. But this is also another opportunity for family engagement around safety and support by bringing in this program to these family engagement nights. Alrighty. I see the questions have slowed in the chat. Oh, Mia, you haven't heard about the blue envelope before? This is an amazing program, and they will be at the youth summit as well. I wanted to make sure that next to the CDL driving, hopefully truck activity, the blue envelope will be there as well. And I was having a chat with a blue envelope Maine. Let me just drop it in the link for you. It is actually supported by the Down Syndrome Advocacy Project of Maine. So, but they will be there. I'm just looking for the chat. There's that information in there as well. So there is an actual envelope that the student has. It's a blue envelope that they get. I am not sure about the decal, but I will absolutely make sure to ask that question and let you guys know in the next year Transition Maine newsletter around that as well. Let me drop the certificate for today in
And
the
Titus, just a second. And I also responded to your question in the chat about getting more information on peers. So Spencer, I put an email address in there for Spencer Trenowith. Just email him directly and you will get all your questions answered.
Mhm.
Then that goes to anybody else as well.
Thank you.
So I put the certificate as well as the survey in the chat. I am also, you guys are going to be the first, right, Craig? Of if you to receive copy. Sorry, I'm just copying am I copying the right one? No, I'm not copying the right one. Hold on, guys. Here we go. Ooh, and there you go. You have first option to register for this year's I Belong Youth Summit. The official, it's going to go out next week and Monday. So it would behoove you to complete and secure your spots for your school this week already. I have to, the minute it hits 175, we are going to be closing registration. So the sooner you complete it and secure your number of spots, the more at ease you feel that your students will have an opportunity to attend this year's Youth Summit. Thank you so much for your time. Sam will be sharing all the documents that we were referring to, as well as all the links that we shared will be in a follow-up email tomorrow morning. So you will receive that. Thank you again so much for your time. We'll see you same place, same time next week. Thank you, everyone.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Mhm. Hey guys, how are you doing, Anne? It's been a while. I've not seen you.
I'm doing well. It's been very, very busy here.
I can well imagine. I can well imagine. Please pull me in, test my brain around programming for your 18 through 22.
Yeah, so we just started we're trying to figure out like the half days versus the full days
Mhm.
once they
Lim,
start.
I
So
want to encourage you to include outdoor education as well. So we do a lot of community participation where VR can help you in planning that business and community activities, but that
yes.
outdoor education piece as well, where they can go on. I think there's a Center for Wildlife. Do you know Josh? Do you know Josh Bauer?
No.
Okay, I think he's in Scarborough. Let me pull up his information for you around programming. Um, so Josh Bauer. Yeah, I know he's in your neck of the woods. That's why I'm like, I can say, so that's copy. How far is Saco from you?
About a half hour or so.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
this is Josh. He's in Scarborough. And
Okay.
then I think there's another organization called the Saco River Center for Wildlife or something like that. There's two organizations. Yeah, the Saco River Wildlife Center is also a great opportunity in planning for uh,
Oh,
around your kiddos
all right.
times as well, right? Not
Yeah.
just indoor or outdoor.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So then VR for that community business participation,
Yeah.
this for outdoor education. We have Goodwill, which could also be through, or I don't know if it's Living Innovations that's in your area
Yeah,
as well.
I think we use them. Yeah.
Living Innovations already,
Yeah.
because Living Innovations as well. Ask them around, sports activities or kind of independent living activities as well.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, don't forget your Alpha One.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Bring it up. So that's already 4 days that you could think. Alpha One, we're doing one day. VR, doing community, living innovations, um, Saco River, Center for Wildlife, and your day is full. Give me
Yeah.
another couple and I'll give you some more around that. If there are any interests that you see individualized interest of any of your kids that you can't think around, reach out to me. I'll find an organization that can speak to that as well. We have where's a gunquit from you?
So Agunquit is heading the other way, and that's probably about an hour to an hour and 15.
No. I
Yeah.
was thinking of like a theater art production company type of thing as well, because the arts bring out a lot for our students as
Well,
well.
we have a performing arts center here at the
Boom!
school.
Plan a performing arts that
Yes,
infuses SEL.
yes.
So if you got your performing arts curriculum that infuses that, right? Do like
So,
a self-advocacy, self-determination kind of
so
thing
we
as
now,
well.
at our school, we have unified music. So they just,
Yes.
yeah, so they just, we have a great music teacher. So we have unified music, unified chorus. We're
Can I
trying to get
steal him for the
them
summit?
that, huh?
Can I steal him for the summit, May 29th, to do like a musical activity?
It's their busy time. I can ask him.
Uh-huh. May 29th. May
Let me,
29th.
um,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And we can do it where a student leads the activity as well, and I can pay the student.
I have a student who just, one of my students was just in a play.
Boom, boom.
He
Like,
was in South Portland.
mhm.
They have a unified performance center, and he was just in a play. And
Boom. If he wanted to organize
so
a 15-minute activity that can happen 6 times, you know,
um,
he'd get paid. Fully paid. If you have, even if you have a best buddy that works with them, seeing that it's unified, I'll pay them both.
so let me well, our unified starts next year, but he is in chorus this year. But he was in a play, a unified play. Let me see. Let me check with his dad and see if there's a scene he could do, and if he still has his costume.
Oh, wait, no. This is about engaging someone, engaging students that are interested in acting or in theater in an activity for him to oversee an activity where others can act for at
Okay,
least, yeah,
so we need the teacher.
y- and him.
Well, actually, so let me
I prefer to be
let me see
student
if I
led, so
can.
it can be.
So let me see if I can check with the drama teacher to get some of her students from the
Yeah.
drama club.
Hmm. And if it's a student again, a gen ed student with a student with an IEP doing it, I pay them both $150 for the activity too, and it's only for 3 hours. So, and so
Um,
it's the activity. It's 2 minutes to set up, 10 minutes to perform the activity, and then 3 minutes to reflect on the activity. That's it. And they do that with 5 minutes grace in between each activity, and they do that 6 times with six groups of students, and the students would be 5 to 10 students in a group.
activity to teach students. I can see if I can find somebody here
Mm-hmm.
at our performing arts. I can't promise anything, but I'll try it.
Yeah. A teacher
I,
and 2 students overseeing the activity? Absolutely. Absolutely.
uh,
But the main thrust of that was include the arts. So if you have arts, you have your outdoors, your SACO or your outdoor center, which is science, STEM based. Then you have the VR Innovation Living that can do community participation. Then
yeah,
you have Alpha One that can be doing, independent living stuff. Your week is full.
yeah,
Your week is full.
yeah,
Hmm. Think about it in that kind of broad way.
right.
This is so specific because then if you are touching on every single core subject, but you're making it like for the arts, that could be ELA as well. It can be
Yes.
writing for expressive communication. So that means so much as far as that piece, right?
Right. Well, and that's what I did. Like we did the maple syrup this week. And
Mhm.
I'm like, you're doing your science, you're doing your history, you're going out to the community,
Mhm.
then we come back and we write about it.
There you go. There
We
you
read,
go.
and we read the book.
Gosh, I
Um,
miss being at a school level.
yeah,
I so do. I'm like,
I know.
I don't get to do the things I love to do. I do
Yeah,
things that I'm good at now. It's really good at, but I mean, the love is still in that classroom.
yeah,
So, there
yeah.
you
All
go.
right. So,
Well,
yeah,
I'm
all
here for
right. So
you.
those are my questions, but I had just become a career planner certified through Oates.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so my question was, we had talked about the independent running their own business, and that's why when she said there were more questions, I was like, I want to find out about. I
Mhm,
know after when they're in the adult for Oates, that's where you can get the funding for your own business. But this boy is buying all his equipment
mhm.
and working really hard, and if he could get some grant money to
So
help.
hear me. Think about this. You get OATS eligibility at 17 and a half. If you start writing, developing that business plan,
Yeah,
right?
and
You
I think
get
he
your
is.
eligibility by 18. And so you are essentially preparing for life post-secondary by developing that plan and
Yes.
putting these measures in place. So then by the time you graduate, you are ready to apply for that funding. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not a matter of you want to do it now, you're preparing to apply for that. And by me now going out to I'm going to work with DOL and I'm going to be calling in on the director as well for Oates. And I'm going to say, here's an initiative. Let's have this happen. And you are going to be our ground zero on the self-employment bit, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So that is going to happen. Don't worry about it. Uh, I've been wanting to bring self-employment as a standard, not an exception for our students with disabilities. It's a pathway that should be a selection as
Mm-hmm.
a standard way versus this is an afterthought now. And so hopefully by showing them how to build out an exemplar flow of how to get our students access to this funding and ready to accept the funding, we'll see more of that growing and hopefully get more grant money behind that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, this boy's been exploring, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We did the whole fire science. He's, he worked at the car wash. He does car detailing. And now
Gosh darn.
he's got his landscaping going. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, good luck. I wish he was in my area. I've got 13 acres for him to landscape. Oh, all righty then. And any way I can support you, just reach
okay.
out.
All
But
right.
I'm looking forward to hearing from you regarding the theater or arts or
All
any
right.
information around programming, and you'll hear from me around the um, self-employment. All right?
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
then.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.